Hi everyone, let's talk COVID-19 pandemic. There's a lot of unfounded information and fake news in the media. These, however, encourage spreading fear and panic all over the society. Let's critically think and see what we know about COVID-19 and what will this situation mean for our future. COVID-19 is a coronavirus. Coronaviruses typically use RNA instead of DNA as a genetic material. Have you heard of SARS and MERS? These are also coronaviruses. All of them cause a range of respiratory problems and all of them are zoonotic. It means they transmit from animals to people and also from person to person. The main problem with these viruses is that it's very hard to stop the outbreak because the symptoms at the beginning are very mild. In the meantime, one person can infect tens of others. That brings me to the first TED video that I want to refer to. The speaker, Elana Sheikh, points out that this pandemic is not at all surprising. According to her, it is a result of the human behavior towards our planet. Climate change, deforestation, hunting animals to extinction, all of this has its part on new viruses and bacteria emergence, which means COVID-19 is not at all last pandemic that we will ever face. I recommend to watch whole video, link is in the description. And how come it has spread so fast? Globalization, people's dishonesty and fear of quarantine. The second video, how pandemic spread, compares the expansion of diseases throughout the history. The more advanced the society is, the faster is the transmission. The outbreak of SARS, for example, lasted just 4 months, but affected 29 countries and caused thousands of deaths. Elana mentions that the measures we took after COVID-19 outbreak, such as quarantines and travel restrictions, were insufficient. We as a society were unprepared. As another problem, she states the potential situation of outbreak in the third world and the catastrophic impact it would have on these countries. However, it is a starting point for us. We can learn our lesson and be prepared for the next outbreak. Now let me look at 2 specific studies that was published on scientific webs. When you type keyword COVID-19 into scientific databases, you will find these results. Following review contains information from several published studies. The title is Understanding of COVID-19 based on current evidence. The aim of the paper is to help the healthcare workers around the world to deal with SARS-CoV-2 and to provide a reference for future COVID-19 research. The scientists took several epidemiological studies and compared their specific results. They mentioned the number of patients, their age, gender, other diseases, and eventually the number of days between diagnosis, assessment, and death. At the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic in December 2019, a series of unexplained pneumonia cases have been reported in Wuhan, China. On February 23, 2020, there were over 77,000 confirmed cases of this infection in China. The number of infections has exceeded that of the severe acute respiratory syndrome aka SARS outbreak in China in 2002. According to the current data, the early COVID-19 cases were related to Huang seafood market. Interestingly, there are more male than female deaths. In particular, the ratio is 3.25 to 1. The people infected by the virus are also mostly males. The median age of death is 75 years. The median age of patients infected is 59 years. To invade a cell, the virus uses angiotensin converting enzyme 2, AC2 in short, as the receptor. Men have a higher AC2 level in their cells than women, and Asians have a higher level of AC2 expressions than white and African American population. This makes the Asian male more susceptible to the SARS-CoV-2 infection. Here you can see the symptoms that the patients reported. The reason for these symptoms is binding of SARS-CoV-2 on AC2. This binding causes an elevated expressions of AC2 which can lead to damages on alveolar cells. As a curiosity, let me mention the fatality rates comparison. In the absence of effective treatments, the best way to deal with SARS-CoV-2 epidemic is to control sources of infection. Strategies include early diagnosis, reporting, isolation, supportive treatments, and release of epidemic information. Okay, let's move to the second study. It is titled Early Transmission Dynamics in Wuhan, China of Novel Coronavirus Infected Pneumonia. Its aim is to analyze first 425 confirmed cases in Wuhan to determine the epidemiologic characteristics of novel coronavirus infected pneumonia, NCIP in short. The authors collected information of demographic characteristics, exposure history, and illness timelines of laboratory confirmed cases that had been reported in January 22, 2020. First figure shows us the history of spreading the virus and the course of events. Dark orange indicates the patients that are linked to Wuhan market. Light orange are the ones who got the disease without any contact with Wuhan market. The development of the epidemic follows an exponential growth in cases, and a decline in the most recent days is probably due to the inability to detect the cases with recent onset rather than the true turning point in incidence. In other words, the latter part of the curve does not indicate a decrease in the number of incident cases. Authors divided timeline into 3 periods. If you are interested in this data, just stop the video and study more. Second figure shows us the key time to event distributions. In the panel A, we can see the days of infection to symptom onset. Panel B reflects the time from illness onset in successive cases in a transmission chain. The estimated distributions of time from illness onset to first medical visit are shown in panel C. Panel D expresses the estimated distributions of time from illness onset to hospital admission. What to say in conclusion? The planet is afflicted by COVID-19 and it is currently the main topic in the media. My effort was to present 2 TED videos which deal with this topic and to summarize findings of 2 scientific studies. I believe we will get on the top of this pandemic as we did with all the obstacles that we had to face in the past. I hope we will learn our lesson from this situation, that we as a society will consider our priorities and think how little we invest into the healthcare systems and educational systems. We do it for the future generation.